Miles goes flames in the Garden as the Charlotte Hornets bounce back and beat the Knicks. Can they continue their winning ways? And LaMelo Ball was out with a non-COVID illness. We talk about all of that today on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
You are Locked On Hornets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
In a minute, cuz we live.
It's Locked On Hornets. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day, local experts on the #1 daily sports podcast network. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. We're free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. Check us out. The subscribers continue to ascend. We will be painting our faces in no time. Just check out Locked On Hornets on YouTube, and you can see us make fools of ourselves. You can also follow us on Twitter at Walker Mail, Doug on Twitter at Doug Branson LOH, the show handle at Locked On Hornets. We're going to be talking about Miles Bridges, who had a career day yesterday on MLK Day, scoring 38 points against the Knicks to help the Charlotte Hornets get back to their winning ways. 14 of 20 from the field, even had the three-point shot working for him, which has not been there as much as it was last year. 5 of 9 from beyond the perimeter, has been a bull rushing to the goal. 5 of 5 from the charity stripe, 12 rebounds, 5 assists. Man, did I miss anything, Doug? Because Miles Bridges was excellent yesterday.
And no, he was pulling out all the stops, pulling out all the moves. No LaMelo, which we'll get to in a moment. And it was clear from the jump that the offense was going to move almost exclusively through him. Now, obviously, Rozier had 18 attempts. Hayward had 16 attempts. There were other shot makers in this game, but the offense was flowing through Miles Bridges when he was on the floor, and he was on the floor for a lot of this game. 38, almost 39 minutes in this game. The starters played huge minutes. Cody Martin is listed as playing 45 minutes. That's also pretty crazy.
It is.
But yeah, Miles was great. Also, I feel like my chair is too high. Hold on one second, and we're good. There we go.
Descend, Doug Branson. Come into the full frame for us, please. Miles Bridges was not descending. He was absolutely ascending last night. Or yesterday. It feels weird to say that it was a matinee game. You like those, man? I'm a huge fan. Give me afternoon basketball every time that you possibly can. And, I guess for me, my schedule is one that works out pretty well with my live show usually going in the evening. So maybe it doesn't work out for everybody else as much. But I loved being done with the Hornets game and then still having the rest of the day to just hang out and maybe think about the Hornets more so if you wanted to. I don't know. I just liked having more free time after a Hornets game.
I think this is one of those things that was great before I had a kid, and now that I do have a kid, the matinee game, you have to sort of slide basketball into your regular kid routine, whereas the games typically are going to be, at least the second half, the most important half, is going to be post-kid bedtime. So that is something that I navigated yesterday, but I was able to watch most of this game. But I think matinee game's great if you don't have kids. Not so great if you do have kids.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't know. I do know that they're pretty great right now that I don't have.
I'm the only child that you have to deal with on a daily basis.
It's true. It's the only one. I have like I said, I have that 6-month-old beagle puppy, and that's about it. You and the beagle puppy. Those are my two biggest childlike figures in my life. One more thing about Miles Bridges, Doug, I mentioned this yesterday too. He's just been playing so much more aggressively here lately, and he's been so much more physical. It's like a light bulb kind of went off in his head. Oh, I'm stronger than everybody. And if I just make an effort to drive towards the basket pretty consistently, then it's not that he's even going to the foul line a million times. And I went to go look up his stats, his game log, just to see how many times he was shooting free throws. He had 5 last night, hit all 5 of them. But it's not like he's doing that. He's not going to the line Joel Embiid-like or even anywhere close to it. He's getting about 5, I guess, a game. It's still a decent amount, but he's just finishing at the rim. The three-point shot was working for him a little bit yesterday too, and so it was just an excellent game. But I feel like ever since Milwaukee, he's been going to the basket really hard, just playing angry. you get him in space, it's really hard to stop. He's not Giannis, where he's the most devastating thing in open space that there is in the NBA, along with LeBron James. Giannis probably even more so at this point in his career. But Miles is pretty devastating himself, and even when you don't give him a ton of open space, if he can get by you just a little bit and get that shoulder past you, then he's going to put up a decent shot. Like, it's going to be pretty decent at the rim, and I think you've seen that, and him kind of, okay, I need to make an effort to not settle for jumpers. Even if the three-point shot is working, which it was, I'm not going to completely abandon driving, and that's what you have to love from what Miles is giving you.
Yeah, the win against Detroit, huge points per shot attempt. Milwaukee, the first win against Milwaukee, he was great. Kind of cooled off in that second win over Milwaukee. Had 17 points, but on 7 of 19 shooting. And then just average offensive games against Philadelphia and Orlando, and then absolutely exploded here against New York. But the big things that are staying consistent is that he's a leader on both ends of the floor. Like, he's playing defense along with playing offense. Like, he's doing both. So he's not an exclusive offensive player, and he can kind of switch roles. He can go into, all right, I'm going to be a number 2 or a number 3 piece in this game. And then you see he has the ability absolutely to completely take over. It's something we saw really early in this season, the Miles Bridges offensive takeover experiment, and then it went away for a little while. And now without LaMelo Ball, you see it come back again. And I think he's back in if he lost any ground in the most improved player conversation, I think he's gained it all back at this point.
All-star too. I mean, maybe not gained it all back, but he certainly has put himself on notice once again.
Yeah.
If you have that kind of performance in Madison Square Garden during a day game, that's going to be enough to get some eyeballs back on you. And you look at you say points per shot attempt, just look at his overall shot attempts per game here recently, 16 since that first game against Milwaukee, hasn't taken anything less than that. You look at the meat of the games in December, he was taking 11, 12, 14, 13. Like, it wasn't nearly as consistent, but ever since that first game against Milwaukee, it hasn't been anything less than 16. So he has kind of established himself as somebody that is going to at least look for his shot. Speaking of somebody else that's a star on this team, LaMelo Ball. Kind of weird, Doug. Saw you put this out there too.
Ooh, weird.
Yeah, LaMelo Ball during look, it's not like you had a ton of time to try to figure out his designation for this game because it was a 1 p.m. tip. And so as the day goes on, LaMelo Ball is questionable entering this game against the Knicks because of a non-COVID illness. And then eventually he was just downright out. He was done. Cody Martin entered the starting lineup. There was a weird moment where LaMelo wasn't on the bench, and then we saw LaMelo finally go along with his teammates as the game went on. What do you make of this? Is it just, hey, non-COVID illness? Hopefully he gets ready for this next game that they have coming up on Wednesday.
I'm honestly not sure what to make of it. I'm not going to dangerously speculate.
I tried to lead you down that road. I put some pieces of candy on the trail.
I'm trying to resist all the urges to speculate about this incident because it's a non-COVID illness. Yes, we didn't see him out on the bench at first. It was sort of a thing where he was like available to play, but like it was like, is he going to play or is he not going to play? Non-COVID illness. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, he was obviously wasn't at the pregame shoot around, but did shoot some at halftime. So, I mean, you hope that he was like just legitimately ill with something and that he's coming back and it's not sort of hidden disciplinary issue. Or, I mean, I don't even know if that's fair, if you can do that. If you can say non-COVID illness and it not be an illness, that feels like it would be some kind of NBA infraction to list somebody incorrectly on the sheet. So I'm not going to go like full-blown conspiracy theory. I will say this. Things just seem weird right now around LaMelo Ball and the team in general. It just with I'm not the LaMelo Ball stan who's out here being like, oh, he needs to lead the team in minutes, blah, blah, blah. But it's clear that he's not playing the same amount of minutes as some of the other big stars on this team. And you feel like there has to be some reason behind that. And then this happens. And I think just things are kind of piling up at this point. And you're going, what's going on here?
Man, you and I are both tagged. Locked On Hornets is tagged in a ton of different LaMelo Ball conversations involving the lack of minutes for LaMelo. And
it's like I'm going down a dark web conspiracy theory. But I'm not gonna. But look, again, I think these things are. we just don't have enough information. What I'm saying is that if something were to come out, something legitimate were to
Right.
come out, I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be flabbergasted. I would not be dumbfounded if there were some tensions that were eventually revealed, because things just seem weird. It's weird for a player to be listed with a non-COVID illness, not be on the bench, and there be no explanation about it after the game. That's my thing. Like, where's the explanation?
You know, the thing is,
I want answers.
Rod Boone said before the game actually took place that he wasn't feeling well this morning. You know, that's what was happening, or that he tweeted that out yesterday. So I don't know what LaMelo is feeling, but you know, he was like, I don't know how you're supposed to act sick, but he was still jovial on the sideline when he was there. You know, I saw that he was signed a jersey for Julius Randle's kid, like still, you know, beat bopping around, because LaMelo is just really, you know, he's so much fun. He's all over the place. His personality is as big as it is on the court with his play. So we'll see what happens.
I'm
with
glad
LaMelo
it's not
Ball.
COVID. I mean, I'm glad he's not
sure.
going to, you know, have to miss time. I'm desperately awaiting Kelly Oubre's return from the health and safety protocols.
Well, and the NFL will do this too, though, and I don't remember any specific NBA instances of this happening, but the NFL, there have been times where this player is out due to COVID or non-COVID illness, and then it does turn up to be COVID. But LaMelo was just on the COVID list not too long ago.
And if you think it is that, then it would be malpractice to have him anywhere near the team.
Yeah, for sure. The NBA wouldn't like that. I can't imagine James Borrego would want that, especially. And so it's like, at first it's like, why isn't he with the team? And then he gets with the team. It's like, wait, well, if it is in danger of being COVID, then why is he with the team? So many questions and maybe no answers going forward, but we'll see what happens with LaMelo as
I
this
want
week goes on,
answers.
as the season goes on. Let's talk about Shopify, because they give entrepreneurs the resources once reserved for big business. So upstarts, startups, and established businesses alike can sell everywhere. You can synchronize online and in-person sales and effortlessly stay informed. Scaling your business is a journey of endless possibility. Shopify powers millions of businesses from first scale to full scale. Go to shopify.com/LockedOnNBA, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial and get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Grow your business with Shopify today. Go to shopify.com/LockedOnNBA right now. Shopify.com/LockedOnNBA. So good news, the Hornets beat the New York Knicks. The bad news over the weekend is the fact that they lost to the worst team in basketball. We'll talk about that upcoming on the Locked On Hornets podcast.